What is going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about. I know I left you guys on an insane cliffhanger in the last video, but we're finally here and we're going to talk about the possibility of Friday being a bull trap. And if it wasn't a bull trap, are we going to head towards all-time highs, if not previous highs? Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So I'm going to start off the video saying this. I don't think the bottom is in. I still think we have more downside to go. Hear me out. All right, so right now we're looking at the NQ daily time frame, and one thing we've been talking about in the past few videos is the three black crows pattern, specifically this pattern right here. Now I encourage you to Google it, but in case you don't want to, I got you. All right, three black crows. You got three bearish engulfing candles forming back to back. Typically you consolidate the next few days or so, and then you see another leg towards the downside. We look at the NASDAQ. You got your three black crows pattern. You consolidated for a day or so, and then you saw another leg towards the downside. Now, this is the part where I want you guys to lock in, because this is where it gets really, really interesting. And so we're going to go back in time. All right, we're going to go back in time because a few of you have asked, well, has this pattern formed before? And if so, what has happened once this pattern formed? And I got you. I'm going to show you. So we go back to 2018. Let's take a wild guess on who our president was during 2018. Yeah, just take a wild guess. Think about it. Let me know what you think. All right. But 2018, Donald Trump was our president. And interesting enough, during this time, we were having a tariff war once again, right? We were having a tariff war during this time. Now, what's interesting is not only that he was our president, but what happened once this pattern formed. Pretty much did the same thing current day. You formed the pattern, you consolidated for a day or so, and then you broke towards the downside. But not only did you break towards the downside, you broke towards the 200 MA. Now, once you hit the 200 MA, you saw a bounce back towards the upside, specifically towards 100 MA, and then you rejected from there. You headed lower, you made a lower low, you bounced back towards the upside, you hit the 100 MA again, you rejected from there, you made a lower low, you bounced back towards the upside, you hit the 100 MA once again, rejected, made a lower low. Let's fast forward. So we look at the NASDAQ daily time frame, current day, right? Three black crows pattern. We consolidated for a day or so, made a leg towards the downside. But we didn't hit the 200 MA. Now, if we're talking about 2018, what happened every time we hit the 100 MA? We rejected from there and headed back towards or below the 200 MA. So if we are seeing upside from here, let's say Monday we see a continuation towards the upside, what's going to happen once we hit the 100 MA? Are we going to assume that 2018 is going to play out somewhat the same way? Or are we going to assume that history is not going to repeat itself at all and we start breaking towards the upside and start, going towards previous highs, all-time highs, all that fun stuff? You guys let me know in the comments below. But what's interesting is that in 2018, we hit the 200 MA, but we did not hit it this time. I still think it's possible. Like I said, I don't think the bottom is in. So one or two scenarios is going to happen. Either we reject from here and head towards the 200 MA at around 20,300, or we head towards the 100 MA at the bottom of this rising wedge, reject from there, and then we start heading towards the 200 MA. All right, so those are the two scenarios I am looking at. Can we head higher? Yes, but in order for me to start leaning more bullish, I want to see a break above 21,500. We start breaking above that, then we can start talking about previous highs, all-time highs, all that fun stuff, and I'll be more than happy to admit I was wrong. It's okay. I can be wrong sometimes. I'm okay with that. But for now, I'm not counting on any type of previous high, all-time high move. I'm just not. Now, what I will say is that the moves that we're going to get in the next few weeks or so are probably going to be very violent. What I mean by that is that you're probably going, any upside we do get, right, we're probably going to wick very hard from the upside. I mean, why? Because our president has been on a psycho rampage lately with this tariff news, right? And let's not even talk about the whole, back and forth with him and Zelensky. I mean, it's insane, right? So I do imagine that any moves we get towards the upside and even the downside, they're going to be pretty violent, okay? They're going to be pretty violent. So I would say take profit when you can. You're going to do what you want, you're at the end of the day, but what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take profit when I can, because we saw this happen before. We go to the SPY. We saw the SPY try to, right here, we saw the SPY try to break above 600, and it got as high as about 599.8. Okay, it got as high as that, and then what happened? Trump announces tariff news, and you see an immediate rejection towards the downside. Okay, so Friday we saw the same thing, right? We saw the same thing. We broke towards the downside. I'm sure bears got really greedy down here, and then what happened? Almost immediately near close, we spiked towards the upside. So I imagine you're going to see these type of moves happen for the next few weeks, where you just see these violent relief rallies towards the upside, and then you see these violent breakdowns towards the downside. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Don't get greedy. Take profit when you can. At the end of the day, you're going to do what you want. But that's what I plan on doing. I'm not looking to hold anything too long. I'm not looking to marry any type of move too long. I think it's going to be a very violent market for the next few weeks, especially given the type of president we have. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for the SPY. Your key levels here is 594, 595 psych level. Right now, we closed below the supply and demand zone at around 595. And not only did we close below the supply and demand zone, but we closed below this rising wedge. So we can very much see potential rejection from here. Now, if we continue towards the upside, let's say we get above 595, then I'm looking at a move towards 598, 599. Highest I'm looking at is around between 602, 605, and then from there, I do think bulls will get trapped, and then you see a move back towards the downside. I think this is a simple liquidity grab. That's what I think it is. I think market makers are just grabbing more liquidity for another break towards the downside. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. As far as downside goes, you break back below 589, you're heading towards this gap fill all over again. You're heading towards this gap fill at around 584. After that, you're looking at a move towards the low 570s. All right, right here is the lowest you can go at around 565. You'll possibly see a bounce off 570 if anything, because that's where the 200 MA is. But it is rising, so that target can change. But I do think at some point in time in the near future, we're going to see another leg down. Once again, I don't think the bottom is in. All right, triple Qs. Triple Qs, same thing. You're retesting the supply and demand zone. You're not completely there yet, but at 510, we talked about 510 all the time, guys. Plenty of times we talked about 510. Bulls right here, bulls right here. They needed to step in. They failed to step in. These guys pretty much left the building, and then you saw bears take immediate control, and we saw a breakdown towards 496. Right now, we're retesting, or it looks like we're about to retest 510 at around the 100 MA. What happens from there, tough to say, but it looks like it's possible that we see some type of rejection from there. Why? Because bears are very, very present in this area. You see no bulls in this area. Let me mark it out for you guys. Where do you see bulls here? You don't see them. They're not here. These aren't even bears. These are demons, okay? They're on demon time, buddy. All right, so oil up. All right, so this is not looking good, okay? So at any given moment we get bad news, these guys are going to step in. They are foaming at the mouth. They are thirsty. They want blood. Okay, all right. They want your blood. So they're ready. Okay, they're ready. So any moment, Donald Trump or whatever type of news comes in, bad news specifically, you're going to see these guys step in. There's no bulls present in this area right here. So you want to be careful. This is why I think it's pretty insane that, bulls get one jump towards the upside and they're losing their minds. They're like, oh, all-time highs, here we come. Like, what about this screams all-time highs? You let me know. All right. But again, 510 is your key level. You break above 510, you're looking at a move towards 513. 515 is your a major key level here. You get above 515, we can start talking about moves towards, I guess, somewhat previous highs. If anything, 533. But we'll talk about that once we get there. 515, your major level there. After that, 518, 520, so on and so forth. Downside, I think it goes without saying, you break below 496, you're heading towards this gap fill at 492, which I do think is going to happen in the near future. All right, so scenarios you could be looking at heading into early next week. You either break back towards the upside, possibly stop at around 518. These guys will step in most likely and then head back towards the downside, or you just immediately reject from here. You see a little, bounce towards 510 and then reject from here. Those are the two scenarios that I am looking at right now. Again, I'm not looking at previous highs or all-time highs. Is this area pretty illiquid? Yes. Do I think it's going to get, cleared out in the near future? No. Just given all what we've seen in the past and just how serious this pattern is. Three black crows. This thing isn't even close to playing out completely. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs. Let's talk about Bitcoin. So this is interesting. This is very interesting. So I want you guys, let's lock in a bit right here. Let's look at this. Let's look back at Bitcoin. Maybe you didn't catch it the first time. Maybe you didn't catch it the first time. All right, let me do it again. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. I I don't know. You let me know what you see in the comments below. I don't think I have to say anything, but there might be some slow ones down there. So you guys let me know what you see. But I mean, one more time. Hmm. I don't know. So one thing about Bitcoin is that we saw it move towards 78K. I don't think we're even close to done. I guess I wouldn't say close to done because 78K is pretty close to our target of 73K. You're still pretty illiquid all the way towards the low 70K, specifically 73K. So I do think Bitcoin has yet another drop to come. Not only that, but you're trading below the 200 MA right here. So yeah, I think it's a matter of time before these guys get liquidated, and then you start seeing a move towards the downside. If Bitcoin breaks back below 82K, these guys are going to start panicking, and then they're going to start looking for reasons to stop out of their position. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin when it comes to downside. In regards to upside, you want to see Bitcoin get back above 90K. It gets back above 90K, you're heading towards 92, 93K, give or take, and then we'll talk about more upside from there. But right now, Bitcoin, still don't trust this thing. I think this three black crow pattern, it has yet to really play out here, but we'll see. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Let's talk about Nvidia. So I mean, I pretty much gave my thoughts on Nvidia in the last video, but just to go in a little bit more in depth, as long as not Bitcoin, Nvidia stays below 140, I got nothing for you. I think this thing is heading towards the low 100s. Be mad about it, cry about it in the comments. I know a lot of you just think Nvidia is invincible and it's just prone to market drops, corrections, I guess crashes, whatever. I know you guys think Mag 7 is just invincible and can't be stopped. Like, I don't know how you guys think that at all. But regardless, I think Nvidia is heading towards the low 100s. I still think that as long as it stays below 140.7, I got nothing for you when it comes to upside. If it gets above 140.7, I will be happy to eat my words, and I will let you guys know that I am 100% wrong. But I've talked about this plenty of times before. For those who are OGs on this channel, we've seen it happen time and time again. Every time Nvidia gets above 140, cocaine bears step in. These bears step in, these bears step in, these bears step in. They do not want this thing above 140. I'm gonna do it again. Monthly time frame. Just in case, I know I got some newbies on the channel, I'm sure, right? Right here. You start right here. Okay, let's do it right here. So I'm just bring this up here. Monthly time frame. Once again, this month here, you headed as high as 140. Bear stepped in. A few months later, fast forward, this month here, you headed as high as 144.4. Bear stepped in, brought it back below 140. Okay. This month here, you headed as high as 152. Bear stepped in, brought Nvidia back below 140. Here, you made new highs. You headed as high as 153. The next day, like immediately the next day, I think it was the same day actually. What happened? Let's actually look at it. Bears stepped in this same day. We made new highs on Nvidia, 153. Bears stepped in, broke us back below 140. So once again, as long as Nvidia stays below 140, I got nothing for you. Okay, nothing for you. You look at the weekly time frame on Nvidia, all we did here is fill this gap. We just filled this gap on a weekly time frame, and now we are making a lower high. Next up, lower low, guys. All right, lower high here, lower high here, lower high here, lower low here. You do the math. All right, so you guys let me know in the comments below what you think about that. But other than that, 140, kryptonite, absolute kryptonite to this thing. So that's what I have for Nvidia. Apple, I'm bearish on Apple. I don't care. I'm bearish on Apple. You guys know this. If you've been on this channel for quite some time, you know how I feel about Apple. I think this thing is going to tank. I still have a price target of 206. I think it's going to head there. The possible move here from here on out for the next few days or so, possibly fill out this fair value gap at 247. But please believe me, I'm going to be looking for an opportunity to get into puts on this thing all over again, and we're going to cash out in the Discord all over again. Discord link is in the description below. But right now, I don't trust this thing at all. As long as these bears exist right here, and until we get above those bears, let's get rid of all this real quick. until we get above these guys right here at around well, we'll say 248. Let's just say 250 psych level. Yeah, bearish on Apple, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it. I've shown you guys this plenty of times. I said once we break back below these guys right here, they're going to step in. Any type of bad news, they're going to step in, and that's exactly what happened with Apple. Let's look at quant data. So quant data, something interesting happened before close Friday. All right, hopefully I click on the right one, but puts were loaded up before close on Friday when it comes to the SPY. All right, and I'm trying to find them. Specifically, there were 563 puts. I'm probably not going to click on the right one, but regardless, source, trust me, bro, or you can get quant data link in the description below. But there was a 12.9 million premium on quant data, showing puts for May 30th at the 563 strike. All right, so I'm not finding it, but source, trust me, bro. All right, let's see if it's in this spike right here. Probably not. But I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, when we're talking about 563 on the SPY and we're looking at the charts, I'm just going to give up on that. If we look at the charts on the SPY and we go all the way to 563, that is a pretty serious level. All right, 563 right here. As you guys can see, I didn't make this up. These guys rejected here, you consolidated here, you rejected, you did somewhat of a rejection here, and then you broke back towards the upside, you rejected here. So yeah, pretty serious level. The 200 MA is in the way, so I do imagine that there is a possibility, given what we saw in 2018, that we can break a little bit below for the 200 MA and then break back towards the upside. I do think this will be a bottom. Okay, I do think that is the case if we head there. All right, I'm not saying we're going to head here, but if those puts do just so happen to play out on the SPY for institutions, I imagine this will be the bottom, somewhere around 560. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. There it is. All right, here we go. So February 28th, Friday at 4:02 Eastern Time. May 30th is the expiration. 563 puts were loaded up at 593.52. There's the quantity, 14,000 contracts. And then you scroll over and you see the premium is 12.47 million. Yeah, that's all I got. All right, so that's insane. You do what you want with that information, but I think that's insane. That's a lot of premium for a play. All right, 12 million on a play. All right, so you guys let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the IWM, and I guess we could talk about the VIX real quick. I don't have much for the VIX, but IWM, I think it's going to head towards 205. You'll possibly see a retest. It does have this piercing line pattern, which is a bullish pattern. You'll possibly see a retest at around 217. Highest 220. Well, actually, it could head a little bit higher. It never retested this descending triangle. So, yeah, 220. Oh, wait. Yeah, 220 is the bottom of the descending triangle. Sorry about that. So, yeah, if IWM does head higher, I do imagine it's going to head towards 217. Highest 220. But ultimately, I think this thing is going to head towards 205. And then from there, we'll see what happens. All right, so still bearish on IWM. We continue to make bags off this thing in the Discord. I'm going to keep trading this thing to the downside until whatever happens, happens. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for IWM. Last but not least, VIX. VIX is at support right now at around the $19 range, 19.5 range. So yeah, can easily spike from here. We'll have to wait and see. We do have tariff news coming in on Tuesday, or supposedly coming in on Tuesday. You know how the president is. One minute he's doing it, the next minute he changes his mind. We don't know. But yeah, VIX currently at support right now. Can easily spike from here or bounce from here or consolidate here. We'll see. Or it might just break towards the downside. We'll see. But that's all I have for this video. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think. Just keep it respectful as always. I will make another video tomorrow going more in depth into more stocks such as Tesla, so on and so forth, because I know you guys want me to go over that stuff. And again, I mean, the last video, guys, the last two videos, you guys showed so much love. Wow. I mean, it was insane. So I really appreciate you guys. The trolls, they've been dormant. You know, I get one troll here and there, but other than that, you guys have been so positive on these videos. It's insane. Really appreciate all of you. Whether you join the Discord or not, doesn't matter. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until the next video, traders, have you a good one.